Skillshare is a service that you've probably seen being shilled to you numerous times by many other YouTubers. Essentially, it's a platform that promotes to you that you can learn something, learn an instrument, learn how to code, learn how to reach the moon. But watching this video, it might be obvious that Skillshare isn't as honest as it lets on. This is going to be a Netflix series spanning 5 seasons. There's going to be romance, betrayal, and of course, naughty Skillshare. Let's get started. We got the subtitles. We do got the subtitles. We are being spoiled today. I kept seeing this being shielded all over Plebit. YouTubers sold out to Skillshare.
Skillshare, like Skillshare.
YouTubers sold out.
No. Hang on a minute. YouTubers... Just a minute. YouTubers selling out? Okay. I don't know about... I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this being a trend before.
Basically, every infotainment video on YouTube pitches Skillshare as some sort of godly resource. Do you want to learn how to code? Skillshare. Do you want to learn how to animate? Skillshare. Do you want to just learn how to learn? Skillshare.
Skillshare is being used everywhere, to be fair. Like, it's being shilled everywhere. I've seen so many YouTubers promote it. I've never promoted it, but yeah, it is just absolutely everywhere.
Skillshare has done a phenomenal job when it comes to branding, marketing, and positioning. But the same cannot be said about the platform itself. Skillshare is not only a mediocre platform.
I haven't used Skillshare ever, but I've seen glimpses of it, like when YouTubers shill it, and I think it literally is. It's just kind of like another form of YouTube. It's another video platform where people upload videos, but it'll be for something specific, like coding or stocks or finance.
It's a negative platform, and that's not my opinion. That's the overwhelming opinion of everyone who ended up using the platform. On Trustpilot, for example, Skillshare has a horrendous average rating of 1.6 stars, with 32% of reviews being 1-star ratings.
Yeah, the thing is, though, if you give something a 1-star rating, that's because you had one problem with it. Like, I'm not joking you. You will have people that have a website that's really good. They have one problem with it. They give it 1 star. It's the equivalent of people that buy, like, some kind of... They'll buy like a new game on Steam, right? And then they can't run the game because their graphics card's shit. And then they'll give it a negative review. Full screen it? Yeah, I didn't really want to get a claim, but yeah, I guess I won't.
For example, let's say I'm watching Abdall, who is an exceptional YouTuber, and I hear him pitch his Skillshare course.
I could not imagine a YouTuber making a Skillshare course. I imagine if a YouTuber made a Skillshare course, it would be absolutely horrendous. It'd be such a waste of time. Look at that. Let's see the chapters. Welcome to the class project. How to get motivated. How to make time in our busy lives. What side hustle can I start? Have you heard of NFTs? They're really kind of good. How to stay consistent. I don't know this guy. I do not know this YouTuber. Some of you may watch him and think that he's absolutely amazing. Totally fair. Totally fair. I can just tell by the way these chapters are formed, it's going to be absolute fucking dribble. And it'll be the most generic cookie cutter. Like, you need to stay motivated. You need to have a 5-year goal. You need to get up at 3 in the morning. CEO life. You need to do 100 push-ups a day. I have seen so many influencer courses that are just complete BS, but people buy them because it's from a YouTuber that they like. If I made an influencer course, people would buy it, even though, like, what I'd be spewing would be complete bullshit. Take the jacket off? No, I'm keeping it on.
Skillshare course, I'll probably get exactly what I'm looking for, which may lead to a glowing 5-star review. But this isn't really a testament as to how good Skillshare is as a platform. It's really just a review of Abdall or Nathaniel Drew or Marcus Brownlee. If it weren't for
Mark Ass Brownlee.
For these select YouTubers, Skillshare's average rating would probably be closer to that of PayPal. Why are people so upset in the first place? Well,
I hate to say it though, like, as much as a negative stigma PayPal has, it is incredibly successful. So that argument doesn't even make sense there, because like, if a company is, I mean, look at Apple, for example. People hate Apple's adverts. Every time I see an Apple ad, the comments are disabled and they're dislike bombed. But it doesn't matter. They're literally one of the biggest companies on earth.
Skillshare simply doesn't offer the value that YouTubers say it does. At the end of the day, it's really just a worse version of YouTube that costs $32 per month or $168 per year. Instead of getting the monthly subscription, you can get a YouTube Premium family plan for 6 people and have $9 per month to spend.
I was going to say, that's so like $32 a month is hefty. Honestly, if I was paying $32 a month, I would just go on that, rip as many videos as I could, save them onto a hard drive, and then just like watch them, and then cancel my subscription.
Or you could get a premium Netflix subscription for 4 people and still have $12 per month to spare. So here's the truth about Skillshare and why it doesn't live up to all the social media hype. Likely the biggest complaint about Skillshare is that it's not actually better than YouTube. At best, it's able to match YouTube, and this is true for basically any topic that you want to learn about. Take Swift coding for example. If you're not familiar with Swift, it's the coding language that you have to use for native iOS development.
I think he's capping a little bit. I think Skillshare is offering an educational service that YouTube doesn't really specifically offer. You will find educational videos. I mean, imagine the amount of times where you have a problem with your phone or your computer or like your PS5, and then you look up on YouTube and you'll see like some guy from India from like 8 years ago explaining how to like sort out a tech problem, and they actually clutch it. They unironically clutch it.
Find a washcloth or a rag and put some water on it. Sometimes you might have to do this for an hour, but sometimes less than that, you never know. So I've been doing this for the last 9 minutes. So what we're gonna do is turn off the TV and see if it works, okay? Wait a few seconds. Okay, turning on. As you can see, the crock is gone, okay? It was just a loose connection.
Or like those 12-year-olds that open like WordPad and they just start typing on it with like, you know, soundscape in the background. Skillshare adds on to YouTube, but it doesn't really bring too much more.
Pretty relevant skill. Yet, if you search up Swift on Skillshare, you don't get much more than 50 results. And out of these results, only 3 of them are actual courses on Swift that last 30 plus hours. Most of the results are just introduction or feature videos. 26 out of the 54 results didn't have anything to do about Swift or iOS development at all. But at least there's 3 good courses, right? Those alone should be worth a subscription. Well, that's what you might.
This guy's transition slides are horrible, by the way. Like, why did he have a balloon inflation noise for when text appeared on screen? I think he needs to watch. I think he needs to watch a course about transitions.
Look at what YouTube has to offer. Code with Chris alone has 536 videos, all about iOS development, and many of these are over 3 hours long. And his videos don't just teach you how to write a function or class either. They teach you how to make a feature completely functional from beginning to end, how to make a custom login page using Google Authentication, how to link up your iOS app to a cloud database, how to make API requests to implement external functionality into your apps. Code with Chris's channel literally has more content about Swift than the entirety of Skillshare. And he's just one channel. There's dozens more like iOS Academy. iOS Academy has a total of 703 videos covering everything that Chris covers, but he takes it even one step further.
Rick and Morty thumbnail. To be fair, I've never actually had a problem with YouTube or like my hardware, software, or computer, and YouTube has not been able to resolve it for me, to be fair. I would never in my life think that if I had to learn something, I would go to Skillshare for it. There is a lot of garbage on YouTube. Easily, the majority of content on this platform sucks. It is not informative, it's not helpful, it's just dribble. If you know where to look and you know the right keywords, you can usually, like 9 times out of 10, always find stuff that you need.
Where he builds full-on apps from beginning to...
Also, what's this music he's using? Why does it sound like it's like Captain America getting the Tesseract?
For example, he's currently making a Rick and Morty app completely from scratch.
That didn't age very well. The Rick and Morty app.
Let's build that app and so many more in just the little niche of Swift. This same argument.
I like how when he shows a web page, he uses a piece of paper as a swipe up sound effect.
On Skillshare, there's a total of 30,000 courses. On YouTube, there's 30,000 hours of content being uploaded every single hour.
That's not a good comparison though. That isn't. Like just because you're saying there's 30,000 hours of content uploaded every hour does not imply it's going to be good. That's cap. I disagree there. Like Skillshare, as bad as it looks, and I would never use it, I think it's like to say that YouTube is better just because it puts more out there. That's almost the equivalent of saying like it puts more slop out there, so that's better. Like no, like I said, the majority of content on YouTube is shit. But if you know where to look, you can find stuff. But yeah, I think it's unfair to compare the amount of content uploaded on the biggest video platform in the world and then a site that's more catered towards like, you know, informing people and educating people.
We should also note that Skillshare doesn't have any sort of vetting process in terms of who can post content. So basically anyone can post content on Skillshare just like on YouTube, meaning that the content on Skillshare isn't necessarily more credible, valuable, or informative.
Yeah, I do feel that even though Skillshare has less content up there probably is still a lot of slop uploaded onto the site. Definitely. I imagine once you go off like the curated creator page, which they'll force down your throat to make it look like the entire site is like that. After that, I think you're just going to find like just absolutely useless, you know, like how to make Garten of Banban 3 or something. Ain't nobody paying to watch random videos. No, the entire point of Skillshare is if you want to learn a skill, you go onto that website and then you kind of, you know, you'll watch videos to be learned, to be taught how to learn a certain skill, like coding or drawing or something.
Given Skillshare's glowing reputation on YouTube, you would think that they're experts at public relations and branding. And in terms of customer acquisition, they are. But if we take a look at customer experience, it's a whole nother story. Honestly, this is pretty surprising. Though I don't think that Skillshare is worth the money, I would have expected Skillshare to be on the top of their game when it comes to customer satisfaction. But reading through these Trustpilot reviews, that doesn't seem to be the case.
Pricing is not transparent. Ugly website. What happened? The whole homepage looks cheap and shady and provides no information on the costs. It pushes a free trial but doesn't state clearly how much will be billed after the trial. Yeah, to be fair though, that's most websites. Most websites do say free trial, but to get the free trial, you have to add your credit card details and set up a direct debit. So it's never really a free trial, really.
You know how YouTubers always pitch Skillshare as this risk-free service? You can just try it for 30 days and cancel with no strings attached. This idea is plastered all over their website as well. But in reality, the trial process isn't what it seems. D. Stevens, for example, claims that he was charged for a 1-year subscription after just 2 weeks of trial. At first, Skillshare didn't even reply to any of his messages, but even when they did reply, all they had to say was, "You have 14 days to cancel from the day you sign up." This likely seems confusing at first glance, but when you read the fine print, it all makes sense. Basically, you do indeed get 1 month for free, but you get charged for the following 12-month period before the trial month even ends. This is of course stated in the fine print.
All members will be billed automatically on a reoccurring basis until cancelled. If eligible for a free trial, cancel before the trial ends to avoid being charged. Offer only valid for new paid subscribers. Again, it's really not too different from like how most companies operate, unfortunately. They do this pretty frequently. When it says a free trial, it is not a free trial. It's a free trial with so many stipulations that the word free just loses all meaning. It's like Leafy saying literally. It doesn't mean anything because they'll usually already be charging you for the next month by the time the first month ends.
The average user probably hears about Skillshare as this godly learning platform on YouTube that they can try for 1 month completely for free. Then they come to this page and they see all this advertising about this 1 free month.
I don't think I've ever watched a Skillshare ad from a YouTuber and thought, I'm going to try that now. I think when I see a YouTuber promoting a product, it makes me never want to buy the product ever. The only product I've actually bought out of my own money is a display because they had some like Disco Elysium posters that look really cool.
So they decide to give it a shot only to be charged $168 2 weeks later. And this doesn't seem to be an honest marketing mistake either. Given the number of complaints on Trustpilot itself, I'm sure their help center has been overloaded with confused customers. Yet, they stick to the same slimy sales tactic. Worse, it doesn't seem like they tried to even make it up to customers. Sam, for example, missed the refund window for an annual subscription by just 4 days, and he was refused any sort of refund.
The whole year, I missed the 14-day cutoff by 4 days. I was denied a refund. I mean, again though, it's like that's your fault. I hate to say it, but like you were late by 4 days. I don't understand why that's the company wrote something down, you didn't abide by it, and now you're giving them a 1-star review. This is what I meant about the 1-star reviews. When you see something with a lot of 1-star reviews, it usually means there's something like that they're not happy with. It's like in The Last of Us, right? The HBO show. That was getting like 9s and 10s everywhere. As soon as the episode appears, like the 2 gay guys, you just saw like all these people giving it 1 star just because it was like 2 gay guys, which is a bit of a cope. I think that episode with Bill was one of the best episodes. But the one that came out last week with Ellie and the girl, that was fucking dog shit. I hated that episode. That's the worst episode they ever made. Episode 7, I think it was. Actually, nothing happened that episode. Dog shit. But anyway, that being said, you missed it by 4 days, bro. I'm sorry.
At all. Even if you do get a refund, though, you're not out of the woods just yet, because you could be charged 1 year later. Take Roberta's daughter, for example. 1 year ago, she signed up for a free trial. She too was surprised when she was suddenly charged an annual subscription. Fortunately, though, she was able to contact customer support and get a refund and cancel her membership. But 1 year later, she was charged for a renewal. When she contacted customer support again, they told her that they can't. She was.
I like how the profile picture is like some middle-aged white woman, right? The profile picture is like some middle-aged white woman. And then to supplement the footage, he uses a young black woman calling support. It's like, if you're going to use stock footage, at least have some kind of consistency.
Support again, they told her that they can't issue a refund because they have a one refund policy, which she had already cashed in on. They even sent her a quote from her original email thread showing that they had issued a refund. The funny part was that this quote also contained evidence that she had asked them to cancel 1 year ago. But when this was pointed out to them, they simply stopped replying. All of this is truly quite a shame for a company that's so good at customer acquisition.
So they've gave 2 examples there of like shitty experiences, which isn't really unheard of, to be fair, in like a lot of big companies.
If all of that wasn't already bad enough, well, it gets even worse.
Oh, right. They'd get paid for it. I bet you the cuts are terrible. The worst cut I've ever seen is from TikTok. TikTok has like some of the worst cuts ever. I think it is straight 50%. But let's see how bad this is.
When it comes to Skillshare, I bet that a significant portion of people who sign up aren't even trying to learn. They simply want to support a creator and see more content from said creator, similar to something like Patreon. But unlike Patreon, most of the subscription fee doesn't even end up going to the creators. Patreon only keeps 5 to 12% of the fees. Skillshare, on the other hand, keeps, wait for it, 70%.
What? Okay, that's bad. TikTok is like 50 to 60%. That's bad.
This is completely unacceptable.
He's literally me. He's literally me right now.
Consider that YouTube
He's actually soy facing right now.
itself only takes 45%. And their content is available to end users for free. Meanwhile, Skillshare is charging their users $168 per year, which is again even more than YouTube Premium. Guess what? They have a free plan for creators that supports unlimited students. This does come up.
I like how the business one doesn't have an actual limit, by the way. Imagine the price on that. Like, it's going to be that much, they don't even want to put it on there. Put it on the website.
Even Netflix, who people seem to hate, is extremely generous with their revenue sharing. Much of the main Stranger Things cast, for example, was paid $250,000 per episode. If all of these other businesses are able to stay afloat without taking anywhere close to 70% of the revenue, there's no reason for Skillshare to be taking 70%. It appears to me that Skillshare figured out...
To be fair though, Netflix is so monolithic at this point, even though some of its earnings have gone down. It is so monolithic in size that it can make like 200 stinkers in a year and it can still stay afloat. So Netflix is just... You couldn't even compare that. You couldn't even compare that because there is so much slop that Netflix put out. Like, I'm not even... I'm talking about every kind of slop. Like, English spoken, non-English, like multi-language. There is so much content Netflix put out, and the majority of it sucks. Like, the only thing that's coming out on Netflix that I'm looking forward to at the minute is Luther, Fallen Son. You know, with Idris Elba? That's like the only thing on Netflix that I see that I'm even going to watch in, like, you know, the next month.
That many YouTubers have extremely loyal audiences that are willing to pay up large amounts of money to get more content and theoretically support their favorite creators. Instead of creating a smooth platform to enable such support though, Skillshare has...
Luther. I said Luther. Luther. How's it Luther? How did I say Luther? Nah. How did I say... I can tell you're American as well. I tell you're American.
Hey, cheeseburger. Hamburger. I watch Family Guy on TikTok.
Has decided to cash in for themselves. Behind the scenes, Skillshare doesn't accomplish anything notably great. In fact, they have multiple notable negative attributes. They have pretty shady free trial, renewal, and cancellation policies, and they only share 30% of their revenue with creators.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Putting those attributes aside, the bottom line is that Skillshare just
that is embarrassing.
Isn't worth it. You're basically getting a discount version of YouTube that you have to pay exorbitant fees for. If any other company was offering this same service, they would have gotten shredded by the community. But because Skillshare is such a big player within the sponsorship scene, no YouTuber wants to speak out against them. And audiences are led to believe that Skillshare...
Why did he use a Dr. Phil clip? This video is good. This video is good, but like some of the transitions and stuff in it are so bizarre.
But that's just what I think.
But that's
Have you
just
ever
a
used Skillshare?
theory.
Comment that down below.
A game
Also,
theory.
drop a like if
That was alright. It wasn't really as much of an expose as I thought. It was more like he mentioned the revenue share, which is horrendous. Like 30% is terrible. He gave like 2 examples of negative reviews from their payment model. And then I think the most damning thing, to be fair, is him mentioning the actual lack of content on there. I mean, it's a good video. It's a good video. It was researched, at least.
I've seen a good amount of maker channels shill Skillshare courses they helped make, so it always felt like extra tips when building a specific thing which would help later on.
That's fair. I mean, if you had a good experience with Skillshare and it actually benefited you, then yeah, fair. I can't take that away from you. Belch.